Hi, I'm Martial Arts Master Bill Fitzpatrick, welcoming you to lesson number 4 of the Master Real Estate course. Average people buy 1 property. You will buy 6. Average people mortgage and remortgage and take out equity loans and dig themselves in deeper and deeper. Well, your goal is to own your properties free and clear of debt. You've also learned that the vast majority of average people are basically clueless when it comes to real estate investing. Therefore, very few average people are in any position to advise you. However, when you find and speak with owners of the investment properties in your small specific investment area, someone who has already done or is doing what it is that you want to do, then please stop, listen, and take notes. This then is the very important point that separates a successful real estate investor from an average person. You see, average people want you to be deep in doubt because your indecisiveness will serve to validate their indecisiveness. If they can convince you not to do it, well, then they can show that they never had to do it. It's very important to always remind yourself that all real estate eventually passes from old hands to young. With time, all properties change hands. You're going to be a master of success. You're going to be a master of real estate. So go ahead, hold your hands out. In this lesson, more training, more research, we're going to go beyond what we did in our last lesson. Today we're going to look at, first local newspapers. Start looking at your local newspaper and, as you go through the paper, look for the display and the real estate classified ads. These ads are going to serve, as sort of your textbook. You study them. You get an idea of the general range of properties in your small specific investment area. You learn the names of the real estate offices. And you can see, usually right in the ads, are these offices that specialize in residential real estate or commercial real estate or investments? Are they talking about, we do property management? If they do, then they're in the investment property business. You're going to see ads from FSBOs, meaning for sale by owners. You will see announcements for foreclosures. So that's your newspapers. You also find real estate magazines. Most areas have free real estate magazines, every page filled with ads. These are the magazines that you see stacked in the front of supermarkets. Use these magazines the same way that you use the local newspapers. Think, which companies are spending the big dollars on what color advertising? Start to build a list of real estate office websites and email addresses. MLS. MLS stands for the Multiple Listing Service. Members of the local Multiple Listing Service cooperate and exchange information on properties that are for sale. The theory is that your property will have a greater chance for sale if hundreds of offices are working to sell it rather than just one single office. Now, in the old days, MLS information used to be very closely held, guarded secret by realtors. But now, thanks to the internet, almost anyone can find out almost all MLS information online. Where else can you look? Well, how about your local yellow pages? Go through the real estate section of your local yellow pages. Again, which real estate offices are running the largest ads? Do you see any of the offices indicating a specialty in investment real estate? Or if they're in rentals, then they know, they're working with investors. Do any indicate that they specialize in your small specific investment area? Not generalists, but offices that work where you will be working. And of course, we have the internet. Today, most realtors will have their own personal websites. Well, look at them. Are they impressive? Is the website merely an online video brochure, or is it an interactive forum where you can see, hey, business is really taking place? How extensive is the website? In most areas, there are also real estate trade newspapers. So most areas of the country will have one or more real estate trade papers. These papers are usually written for people who are working in real estate agencies. In other words, real estate agents. Can you find such publications for your area? Well, you can call up the local real estate board and ask them, or you can ask the reference librarian for assistance. What do you want to know? Well, as we said, you want to know everything about anything that has to do with real estate in your small, specific investment area. So keep going. You should always be reading books about real estate. If you like Donald Trump, hey, Donald Trump has written a dozen books. Remember your action principle number 86. Read, read, read. Why not have the modest goal of reading just 5 pages a day from a real estate investment book? Each year, you'd be reading 6 real estate investment books. Who's doing this? Who's making this effort? The answer is very few people. But again, reading and research are the exact types of activities that are beginning to separate you from the crowd. Then, well, with all of this knowledge that you're gaining, when you get into deals, this is real estate, so deals that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can do so with confidence. Knowledge is power. Frank was a friend of mine who owned a small apartment rental company. I was one of his property management clients. Frank didn't own any real estate of his own and really didn't make a lot of money. He was good, but he didn't make a lot of money. His wife and his 3 young children lived in public housing. Tragically, one night, a drunk driver killed Frank. A few months later, his wife, Susan, came to me for advice. She never liked living in public housing, and, well, she wanted to buy a house. She told me about a 2-family house in her neighborhood that was for sale for $75,000. She'd already taken the initiative to go to the bank, and with the small settlement from Frank's insurance, she felt that she could qualify for a mortgage. You know, I told her that with 3 small children and only a few $1,000s in savings, that she should not move out of public housing and not buy that 2-family house. Well, Susan thanked me for my advice and went ahead and bought the house. Susan has now been in that house for over 15 years. She raised her 3 kids in that house. She was a stay-at-home mom who then said, well, I have to pay a mortgage, so she went out and got a full-time job. She found a way to pay her mortgage and to pay her bills. Today, this 2-family house is worth $300,000, and she has over $250,000 in equity. You see, I didn't realize who I was dealing with. You see, Susan really did have a master of success spirit. She was smarter and tougher than I ever gave her credit for. Susan had a mission, and she had a will to win. She won, took a risk, took the initiative. And I was fortunate to learn from her example. You and I, let's do it.